What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dominique Williams, aka Mr. Back to the Money, guys. This is the Don't Overthink Entrepreneurship and Real Estate podcast. And today, listen, I got a special guest on, man. This man has helped my family as well as myself for years and years, man. And I had to bring him on today, man, just to really reflect on some important things that I think that is missing out of our community, man, that's going to play a major role in your life, man. I think it's something that we don't talk about often, and it's needed. And this right here will really eliminate the GoFundMe. We know we run into a lot of people that, when our loved ones leave here, you're seeing people create GoFundMes and everything. And I felt that, with this being a podcast about entrepreneurship and business, man, I want to be able to provide as much value as possible. So I brought on my brother, Mr. Calvin Baldwin, today, and he's going to talk about the importance of life insurance and other policies. And like I said, he's done so many great things for my family as well. And he's still handling our insurance policies, our life insurance, and all different auto insurance, home insurance, all of that good stuff, man. So with no further ado, Mr. Calvin Baldwin, man, I thank you for coming on the podcast today, man. And hey, I'm gonna turn it over to you, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Dominique. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, sir, man. Listen, man, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Tell us about, how it all started for you, what led you to where you at today, and man, why insurance? Just before we even just tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I appreciate that. My name is Calvin Baldwin. I'm originally from Hampton, Virginia, but I moved out here in the North Carolina area to the Hertford County area, Northampton County. And I've been here for a little over 10 years. And so I graduated from Shawan University. And once I graduated, they didn't ask me to leave. So I figured I'd stay for a little while. And so that's kind of what I did. I started working in the bank industry for a while. And then I went to work with State Farm for a little while. Then I went into brokership. And so I pretty much had my own company now for coming up on 10 years. And so I was able to get into it because I was looking, maybe about 15 years ago, I was looking for a job, something to do, something that I could sink my teeth into. And my father had said, why don't you look at insurance? And so I said, well, Pop, I'm not going door to door. I'm not knocking on nobody's door. But he said insurance is different now, and so I started out with life insurance, and I wanted to be able to help people. And so I ended up getting into all aspects of insurance. And so I do all insurance, whether it's home, auto, life, health, dental. I work with retirement. I work with commercial accounts, 18-wheelers, grocery stores. That's really what I want to do. I just want to be there when somebody needs me. And I always felt like if I could talk to you, if you could understand what I'm saying, if I could understand what you're saying, then we have a commonality. We have a bond where we could communicate. And so I think communication is just a big part of it. But I've been in insurance for about 10 years. I love it. And I really can't think of nothing else that I'd rather do with my time, because you're always able to help somebody and change somebody's life.
Man, that's major, man. And just knowing you, it ain't like you somebody that I don't know, man. I work, like I said, I've been knowing you, I think probably them whole 10 years since, you've been here coming in the barbershop, we shooting pool and talking, right, man. And just knowing you, man, I know that you are a person that really genuinely like to help people, man. And that's why it's so important. My mama love you. She always talking about you, always sharing, so much insight, man, about you, man. So I definitely appreciate that, man. So I know you dove in a little bit about why you choose the insurance industry. What is it? Because we just don't jump into things. What was it that made you start loving to do insurance, or really wanting to focus on insurance?
Well, I mean, insurance is a field. Insurance is something that everybody needs to have. I mean, you got to have insurance. And so I just figured that, if you got to have it, and let me give you an example. So when you look at auto insurance, if you have tags on your car, you got to have insurance. And so if you don't have tags, you're going to get a lapse of insurance. The cops will pull you over, take your car, take your tags, give you a hard time. And so if you got to have insurance, why not get it from me? That's the way I thought about it. And like I said before, people like dealing with somebody that they can talk to, somebody that's real, somebody they can tell the truth to. And so that's me. And so I enjoy it. Insurance is a glass ceiling. You can make as much money as you possibly want to make. I know that a lot of people are truck drivers. And so they got into truck driving so that they could drive as much as they want, and make as much money, have unlimited options. It's the same thing with insurance. You have unlimited options. You can help people all across the world. Like right now I'm licensed in like 9 or 10 states. So I can do insurance in 9 or 10 states, so I'm not isolated in the area. And so helping people is my main thing. Even though, you can take care of yourself and be very well financially, off, I don't look at it for the money value. I look at it for just helping people. And that's really all I'm about. If I feel like if I can help you, that the Father take care of me with everything else. But helping you is the main thing I got to do. And by helping you, that means inform you, educate you, on what type of policies you have, how to operate within the policies, and give you the best price, give you the best that I can, give you the best part of me. And by doing that, I'm hoping that you'll stick with me, that you'll say, hey, this guy, he understands what I'm trying to do. And not just that, but, when you give me an opportunity, hopefully you'll be able to see yourself, where your prices, are at a certain rate, but then next year they go down. Then the next year they go down. And so they're like, wow, Baldwin was telling the truth. And so that's really what I want to do. I just want to be able to help people, with the knowledge that I have. And just like, you're a financial guru. If I have some questions about finances, I can go to you. If I have some questions about trucking, I can go to you, or stocks, I can go to you. But if it's insurance, you come to me. This is my lane. This is what I enjoy doing. And this is what I, perceive myself to be a professional at.
Absolutely, man. That is the absolute truth, man. So I know you spoke a little bit on the type of insurances, but we want kind of a little bit more deeper dive. What type of insurances are out there, and what type of insurance do you specialize in, and some of the differences about them?
Well, you're right, Dominique. There's a lot of insurance out here. First of all, you have auto insurance, and so I'm sure that everybody has some sort of auto insurance. And so that's what I chose to build my relationships off of, because you got to have auto insurance. I want to build right there. I want to save you money. I want to earn your trust right there. And then from there, most people have homes or they have renter's insurance. They're going to need to have some coverage there. A lot of people do need health insurance. Sometimes people have health insurance with their job, and which that's good. But at the same token, some people have life insurance with their job too. But when they leave their job, sometimes those benefits stay there at the job. And so the main thing that we really want to do is just inform our people, inform people. And I love black people. I love white people, Hispanics, Chinese. I love everybody, because I help everybody, and from my heart, I help everybody. And so I really want to inform everyone about their options, because if you really want to take advantage of somebody, don't tell them the rules to the game. Just let them operate and see how many wins and losses they have. But if you're able to understand insurance and explain insurance, then people will know how to deal with insurance. They'll know how to operate insurance and how to make insurance work for them. And so that's really what it's all about. Just understanding insurance, understanding how to operate within your policy that you have, and then move on. And so we have dental insurance. Of course, we said health insurance. Any type of insurance you need, we can help you with. We even have pet insurance. Even though I haven't sold any pet policies, we still have it. So anytime that you have a risk, there's an insurance for that. And so when we talk about risk, R-I-S-K, risk. Okay, insurance is here for risk. Okay, whether you have auto insurance, you might have a risk of having an accident. And so we look at your driving record, how old you are, how young you are, history, to see how much risk you may assess on a driving policy. When it comes to life insurance, we look at how old you are, how young you are. Do you take good care of your body? You're in good health. Do you smoke cigarettes? Do you drink? You do drugs? Heart problems, diabetes. We look at all those things. Risk is what insurance is all about. Of course, when it comes to insurance, we all hope that you never need it. But if you need it, I hope you got it. And that's what insurance is all about.
That is valuable, man. And something that you said that really make a lot more sense is, risk. Like you said, insurance is literally for risk. Cause like you said, a lot of times we hope that we don't need it. But it's good to have it in place, man. And
that's right.
I know for a fact, firsthand about, having different insurance policies in place. Just because I don't want to have to deal with the pain or the suffering from if something happened in any situation. So so like the main thing that I really brought you on, and like I said, it's the topic of this this podcast, man. And I think it's so important, and a lot of people don't take it serious because they don't even like to talk about the subject, and that's life insurance, man. Can you give us a high level on the importance of life insurance, and what is life insurance?
Well, I would love to do that. But before I do that, Dominique, I got to reiterate something that you just said a few minutes ago. It makes perfect sense. And so basically you're saying that life insurance or insurance is about risk, is to prevent risk. And so when you look at risk, excuse me, the first thing that I want to talk about is responsibility. Okay, that's number one. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Responsibility. You see, how many people are the go-to person in their family? That's what we need to be talking about. Are you the go-to person in your family? That's what we're talking about to all the listeners out here. I'll give you a second to think about it. Because if you are the go-to person, then you have to realize that death is imminent. There's nothing that you can do to stop it. If you find out that you are the go-to person in your family and you're being notified whenever, somebody gets in trouble, go to jail, or whenever, somebody needs $1, to pay their insurance before it go out or their car note before it gets taken back, if you're the go-to person, then you got to be able to think about how can I prevent things from causing a problem personally for me. And so when you look at risk, we already know that people that is once appointed man to die, then the judgment. So we already know that. But at the same token, we have to plan ahead of time so that these things don't happen, because there's been a lot of situations where people didn't necessarily have life insurance. Then their family come to me and say, Mr. Baldwin, did so-and-so have life insurance? I'm like, no, I tried to talk to him about it, but he wasn't interested at the time. And so insurance is very inexpensive, especially when you get it at an early age. And so when you get insurance at an early age, it doesn't cost hardly anything, because at an early age, the risk is low. The risk is low. Okay. So there can't be enough said about a person who stands in the gap for their whole family. There's a person who keeps their whole family together, So at the same token, when little Johnny dies, now this go-to person has to spend $10,000, $15,000 when they may not have it available. They may have it to keep their family together, but they may not have it discretionary. And so most policies when you're young, they cost maybe about $10, $20, for $50,000 to $100,000. So $10 to $20 a month, for $50,000 or $100,000, that's a great investment, And so, once again, you got to think about it. If you're the go-to person anyway, why not be preventive and make these things happen? And when it comes to saving money, I mean, we all want to save money, but then you have to think about the long term. It's going to come my way anyway. So allow me to be able to prepare. So being able to prepare is paramount, okay? But then also, you got to kind of choose your words carefully, because when you're dealing with a loved one, there's no replacing a loved one. There's no type of money or value that you can put on the loss of a loved one. You see, so you don't want to say insurance is not an investment, but insurance can be looked at as a precautionary measure to take to make sure that your family has longevity. That your kids are able to go to college, or that you're able to live the lifestyle that you want to live down the road. I think that when you look at other class of people, I think that that the black people of color, have not taken care of the generation that's coming after them. For whatever reasons, it's always been kind of hard for us to put a dollar aside or save a dollar. It seems that a lot of people are dealing with scarcity, which is a lack of resources. But I necessarily don't believe that. I believe that we have money available. I believe that it's there. I believe that we just have to have education. We have to be informed, because if you're not informed, then you don't know what to do. But it is very affordable for people to be able to secure generations after them. I mean, there are questions and health questions that you have to answer in order to get and qualify for a life policy. But there's no reason why someone can't get $1 million policy, especially if you get it young, like 20, 25, 30. I've even had someone 45 get a $1 million policy. It wasn't even over $200 a month. Okay, so you can get policies. It's just about talking to the right people, talking to the right insurance agent, talking to the right broker, having that relationship, having a good understanding. I've done, I could just run off policies, it's just ridiculous. But you can definitely get protection. We could talk about a grandchild policy. A grandchild policy you might have a grandchild that's like 2 years old, and you get $50,000 of whole life insurance for what, $19, $20 a month, and this child will have insurance until they're old, and the price will never change. The only thing that'll change is if the owner dies, or the person stop paying money. The owner stop paying money. That's the only reason that policy would cancel. You would have a child that's 18 years old. You can get $100,000, $50,000 to $100,000, $10, $20 a month. It's easy. I have a lot of different companies, so even if someone has diabetes or have heart problems, I can help them get a policy. When you look at older individuals, one of the things that they look at is, am I going to be able to get first day coverage? First day coverage. I don't want to wait 2 years, and that deals with risk. So if the underwriters look at the risk and they say that it's moderate, we can give you first day coverage. But then if you have certain things like heart attacks and severe heart issues, things of that nature, and the risk is very high, then you have to wait 2 years. But it's very seldom that I find someone who has to wait 2 years before that policy is issued. But I tell you, Dominique, I think that insurance is a tool that has been underused for years. And so you could probably think back to yourself. I mean, you're devout guy. You have a lot of friends, you know, and you know a lot of people. How many people did you grow up with that was blessed with a life insurance policy when their parents died?
Not a lot, man.
That's what I'm saying. So not only will this tool help your family, this tool can also help your business. Like, say for instance, you know, if you have a business and you got a person that works right with you and you're training them tooth and nail, you can get a life policy on them. It's called a key person policy. Okay. So what that means is that if this person passes away, that the business will be able to earn money. Okay. Sometimes it might be a situation where that key person is an owner. Okay. And you're an owner. So you get a life policy on them. They get a policy on you. So if you pass away, that they could talk with your family about the business finances. It's possible that they could just pay your whole family out with the life insurance policy. So life insurance can really go a lot of different ways. When you look at whole life, when you look at life insurance, there's really 3 different types of policies. Okay. You have the term policy. A term policy is the type of policy that is just with you for a term. It's just for a period of time. That's all it is. The term could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, it could be 20 years, it could be 30 years, but it's still a term. At the end of that term, you don't have anything else. Okay. You have to reapply at the end of that term. Okay. But the term policy is one of the cheapest policies around, and you can really get a lot of value in that policy for hardly no money. Okay. But you got to remember that a term policy is just for a term. Okay. And so anything under 50 years old, you're able to get 30 years. But then when you get over 50, then you start chipping down. Like you might get 20 years or 15 years or 10 years. But the term policy is still of great value. Then you have another policy, which is a whole life policy. And so a whole life policy is a policy that where the values won't change. So the values will stay the same. And then also the face value should stay the same. Now, there's different variations of whole life policies, you know, where the monthly premium is not supposed to change, but it's a different variation where it could. Then there's also a different variation where the face amount could change. The face amount is the amount of life insurance that you're talking about. Now, I'm going to give you an example of that. So there are whole life policies, whereas you're able to earn cash value. Okay. And so what happens is that you have a whole life policy and you've had it for maybe 5 to 10 years. Well, that policy has cash value growing in it. Okay. And so as the owner of that policy, you can borrow from that money or you can just take it. Okay. Because it's a whole life policy. Okay. And so that's one of the things that a lot of people don't have a lot of education on. You know, they don't really understand how it works. But one of the things that I really want you to remember is that a term policy is just what it is. It's a term for whatever term amount we talk about, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20, or 30 years. A whole life policy, consider that as going the long way. It's something that's going to take you until the day that you die. Just consider it like that. And then that way, for understanding purposes, it'll help you out a lot. And so the other type of policy is a universal policy, which is a combination of the whole life and the term policy. Okay. And so I try to make sure that I keep it simple, and I try to make sure that I explain everything the best way that I can. But with the whole life policy, that's something that a lot of people really don't understand. But there's a way that you could be able to master the whole life product. There's a way that you can really get a lot from that. And one of the ways to do it is to get it and hold on to it and let it become a staple in your family. You know, you could really use that to your advantage. There's situations where you can have so much money in the policy that you could take almost all your money back and still have the same value. It's just so many things that ways that you can win with the whole life policy. I do believe that there was a time when President Trump was talking about his taxes and everybody wanted him to show his taxes and things of that nature. I believe that he has a lot of whole life insurance, because when you have a whole life policy, you're your own bank. You're your own bank. But one thing that I will tell you, Dominique, is that a lot of times people will misunderstand what I'm saying. They'll get a whole life policy and want to borrow the whole face amount next year. You can't do that. So with a whole life policy, you have to have it and you have to let it build up. You let it build up. Okay. Now, also, what you put into a whole life policy is what you get out of it. Okay. You can't pay $10 a month and expect to have a bountiful benefit. With the whole life policy, you're going to have to pay a little bit into it, to receive something. So I would say at least $100 a month, 200, 300, and then you'll be able to look at your amortization schedule to see exactly what the true benefit is. I know that I might be speaking over the head of some of the listeners, but at the same token, I would love to be able to set up, like a personal interview or personal conversation, with people, because whole life and insurance is something that has to be tailor fit, just for you. And that's what I try to do. I try to understand what your expectations are and surpass your expectations. But the main thing that you got to do above all things is understand the monetary value, and the cost of the life insurance has to fit into your budget, and so it'll do you no good to get a policy today and then let it cancel tomorrow. And so one thing very quickly also that I like to explain to you, Dominique, is that when you look at a whole life policy, a lot of people expect to be able to earn a lot of money in a whole life policy, and you can earn. As a matter of fact, some policies in a whole life policy, you might earn anywhere from 3 to 5% on interest. Nobody even thought that you could earn 3 to 5% on interest in a whole life policy. And that's how your money grows. Okay. So let's talk about that real quick. Okay. So in a whole life policy, I would love for you to be able to have the policy for 30 years. So let's think about 30 years right now. Okay. But for the first year in a whole life policy, you're not going to earn any money because that money goes to the face value. Okay. But after the first year, then you start earning increments of money each year, and then you can really see it grow. But for the first year, you're not going to earn because the money that you're paying pays the policy. Okay. Now, a lot of people do like to earn money, and so if you are interested in earning money, I have another product called an annuity. An annuity is basically like a CD on steroids. And one of the benefits to that is that you're able to earn triple compound interest. So the money that you would typically pay, for taxes and things of that nature, that money stays into the annuity and continues to grow. And so you're not going to have to pay any taxes on that until you use the money. Okay, which is awesome. And so I know a lot of people is like, well, tell me what can it earn? Well, in annuity, you have the annuities that I deal with the index market. Okay, so first of all, I'm not losing anything because I'm dealing with the index market. Okay, so in my mind, I have two different types of annuities. Well, there's plenty of different types, but in my mind, you have one that's non-aggressive and one that's aggressive. So the one that's aggressive on an investment of $100,000, I would be able to bring back maybe about 124, something like that, in 10 years, which is not that bad. You're growing about $2,000 a year. But then there's another one that I have that's more aggressive. And so for investment of 100,000, I could bring you back 190,000. Okay, so that way you would grow $90,000 in 10 years. And so basically what we do is we look at historical data, okay, and we're able to give you roughly about 8%, 8 out of 10 years. And so once again, we're going off of the index market. And so there's a lot of teachers, there's a lot of people who have a 401k, things of that nature. A 401k is great because you're contributing to the 401k and your job is contributing as well. And so when you guys are contributing, then you see growth. You're contributing in year after year, you see growth. Month after month, you see growth. Okay. But what's happening to the money that's in the account? The account itself is not geared for that money to grow. The only way the money's going to grow is because people are contributing, but the money itself is not growing. Okay. So what I say, don't give me all the money that's in that account, but give me some. Okay, let me get 100,000. And what we do is we take that from one qualified account and move it to another qualified account, which would be the annuity. So there's no penalties, there's no fees, nothing like that. It's from one qualified account to the other account. But on this account right here, you know what you're going to make. Okay, you know that at the end of 10 years, you're going to make $90,000. Okay, now, of course, the index market is, to me, it's a better risk than the stock market, because with the index market, you can't lose anything. You might not earn for that year, but you're not going to lose. And one thing that I try to do is I try to treat everyone's money, their investments, as if it was mine, you know, and I try to make sure that, you know, that we take care of each other, you know. And so when I was working at the bank, I never lost anyone money, not $1. Not $1. And so I've never lost anyone money. You know, that's because I choose to use methods that are slow and steady. And that's what wins the race. But I'm sorry I got off track a little bit, Dominique. Start talking about annuities, but it's all one and the same to me, you know.
Man, no, man, that was extremely valuable, man. And, you know, something that you said, you know, about because that was actually one of my questions, you know, the type of investments about, you know, insurance. And you hit it on the head, man. And just knowing you and knowing, you know, what you stand for is really, like you say, are helping people even invest. The type of life insurances and insurance that you have to help people invest it into, you know, something that's going to yield them growth over time, man. That's priceless. That's a lot what, you know, I do as well, you know, bringing and helping investors, you know, putting it in safe assets to be able to grow and preserve their capital over time, man. So it's, you know, it's same skill set, different vehicle, man. You know, we helping people learn about the importance of these things. And that's, you know, that's, like I said, this is what this podcast is about, man, about educating entrepreneurs that, you know, that want to grow, that want to be able to, you know, preserve their capital, or, you know, don't really know how to preserve their capital. You know, they can do invest with you, you know, as far as, you know, insurance, invest with me when it comes to, they might be busy entrepreneurs. You know, you're a busy entrepreneur, business owner, and you know, you might want to get into some real estate, but just don't have the time, you know. Boom, come to me. Let me help you. I can show you how to preserve this capital, you know, get these returns over, you know, a period of time, man. And, you know, what you said is like extremely valuable, man. And that should make people want to, you know, invest into their insurance, because, you know, everybody love to make some money, man. I mean, that might give them a reason to push more and, you know, really look into these investments, man. And, insurance, life insurance is not just, you know, like just it's not just I actually see that it's an investment too. You know, you can really invest and, you know, get something out of it, man. So let me ask you a question, man, because everything that you said is extremely valuable. And like I said, this is the Don't Overthink Entrepreneurship and Real Estate podcast. So I know that I have listeners that probably want to get into the insurance field, man. What kind of tips would you give them to even dive into what you're doing, or you know, one day opening their own insurance agency, man? What kind of tips would you give them?
I'm gonna tell you all about that, Dominique. But give me 1 second, because I need to address something that you said. I think the first thing that people need to do, Dominique, is realize that that you have an option when it comes to insurance. You know, just because you've been with one company for 10 years don't mean that you got to stay there, you know, because I've seen situations where I'm helping older people, no accidents in the past 10 years, you know, and I saved them $200-300 a month. You know, I've seen people be taken advantage of, you know, and it's sickening, to be honest. And so the main thing that I would tell people to do is take a look at your policy, you know, and I think one of the differences that I try to make, is I try to have a relationship, you know, with my clients, you know, and I can talk to them, you know, and I try to be there in their life when they need me, and I try to be there, you know, and for example, You know, I've seen you evolve, you know, from a guy who, you know, who had a trick bank shot, you know, to a financial guru, you know what I'm saying? But I've been there, you know, to see you evolve. And so at the end of the day, I think having a relationship with somebody is the main thing, you know, whereas I always talk about this and it makes sense to me. I know that I'm a little older than you, Dominique, but I know you remember that show with Ted Danson called Cheers back in the day. It was the show that came on NBC. Well, the thing that I like about that show is that you want to go where somebody knows your name. You know, you don't want to just be a number. And so that's one of the things that I try to do. You know, I try to personalize it. I try to make sure you're having a better day after you leave me than you had when you came. You know, I try to really, you know, make an impression, you know, and I think that when you're trying to serve people, that's what we got to do. You can't really forget that. You know, I'm here for you, and hopefully that we can make a relationship that'll last years. So I think that being able to have a heart to serve is the number one thing, Dominique. You know, you can't get into this business and think you just gonna run somebody over. You know, the main thing is you got to be a people person. You gotta want to be a people person. You got to want to help. You got to be a helper. You know, you got to be a servant, and that's what I am. You know, I'm a servant. You know, and so whenever you don't think you are, that's when you're gonna realize it. So no matter how big you are, how tall you are, whether you work for yourself, work for somebody else, you always going to be a servant. You know, you always going to help somebody. And that's the number one thing, is to have that helping spirit. And so, like I told you, you know, my father had got me into insurance, but it's very easy to get into insurance these days. I encourage people to do it, but at the same token, I don't want you to run me out of business, you know, so it's real easy. The only thing you got to do is just take a continuing education course. It's like a pre-licensing course, and so you take that course, and it could be about life insurance. It could be a property and casualty. It could be a lot of different individual sections of insurance. So you take that pre-licensing course, and then after you take that course, you're able to take the North Carolina exam. And so once you take the North Carolina exam and pass it, you're a licensed agent. Whether it's in life insurance, property and casualty, or claims, whatever it is, you'll be a licensed agent. And so with that being said, you could become a licensed agent from anywhere between $200 up to probably $500. But once you pass the test, that's it. You know, and then it's about who you align yourself with. You know, you can align yourself with a large company like Nationwide, State Farm, you know, or you could become a broker, you know, like myself. And so a lot of people, they need to know the difference between an agent. So if you're an agent, let's say, for instance, you work for State Farm, then you're a captive agent. That means that you work for State Farm. You can't work for nobody else but State Farm. Your interest is in the interest of State Farm. But when you're a broker, you can work for several different companies, but your interest is the people. And that's where it is. That's what my interest is. My interest is in the people. And so I'd rather have a strong relationship with you so that I can make sure that you're happy, and I put you with the right company. And so I have over 100 different companies that I can go to. And so my goal is to put you with the right company that's going to save you money and going to be able to appreciate what you bring to the table. And so there's a lot of different companies out there, and the companies have different risk. And so you might have one company where they say, I want young drivers. Then you have another company, they say, I want old drivers. Well, both of the companies are still giving insurance to everybody, but it's just a matter of what they prefer and how you can save money. And that's really what it's all about. It's about saving money and being there when you need somebody, and just being able to get off to a good start. And like, you know, one of the things that I tell anybody, don't try to get in insurance and think you're going to get rich off of it, because that's not what it's about. You know, you can get wealthy off of insurance, but you got to be able to put things in the right order. The right order is helping people. And once you help people, you'll be known as a helper. And then you'll be able to take care of your family because you help other people. And that's really what it's all about.
Man, that is golden. That is golden, the golden nuggets, man. Like I said, just knowing you, man, everything that you're saying, I know that's what you stand for. That's why we'll continue to do business for a lifetime, man. Man, Kevin, I thank you for
so
coming
much
on, man, and sharing your expertise, man, on, just the different types of insurance, the benefits of insurance, how you can build wealth insurance, and most important, man, life insurance, man. So, with that being said, before we close out, man, because we ran over a little bit, but it doesn't matter because you dropped straight gems, and I feel like this is definitely will be one of the most important episodes, man, on the podcast. So before we end, brother, can you share how my listeners can get in touch with you, which we're going to put it into the description on the YouTube channel so that they can have that, man. Share any information that you would like our listeners to get and how they can contact you, brother. So go ahead and knock that out, man, and let our listeners know how they can get in contact with you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dominique. Like I said, I always appreciate you, bro. And so, one of the best ways to get in contact with me is through my website, and that's Baldwin, BALDWININS, which is short for Insurance Group, GROUP.com. So it's Baldwin, BALDWININS, GROUP.com. And so you can go there. Also, my email is calvin@baldwininsgroup.com. We currently have an office in Murfreesboro. That's the hub. Then we also have another office in Charlotte that we just recently opened this year. And so we're looking to expand. We're looking to help as many people as we can. You also have a 1-800 number that you can reach me on. It's a 1-888-351-0104. So no matter where you are, North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina, Tennessee, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Missouri, I'm there for you. So if I can help you, please give me a call. I would love to be able to form a relationship with each and every one of you. That's why we're here. And so, Dominique, I can't tell you how proud of you I am, brother. I mean, I see you back there with the books. I see you reading. I see you growing.
Yeah, man.
I'm really proud of you and the man you've become. And like I said, I know your mama too. And Miss Cynthia, she's always proud of you. You know what I'm saying? So keep up the good work, Dominique, man. Like I said, I plan on being around, to watch your success and just be a resource for you if I can.
Man, absolutely, brother, man. I appreciate you so much, man, for your service, man. And like you say, service and really caring about everybody, man. Everybody you encounter, man, you can feel it, man. And that's what anything that you do, man, a person can feel genuineness, if a person is genuine or not, man. And you definitely got it, brother. I extremely appreciate you, man, for dropping the value on us, man. Thank you for coming on the show, brother.
My pleasure.